Otto Günsche, the man who delivered Hitler to the flames. In the dying days of the Third Reich, a young man stood guard outside the steel door of the Führer bunker beneath the crumbling Reich Chancellery. Inside, the man who once terrorized all of Europe was preparing to end his life. That young soldier, Otto Günsche, would become the silent witness to one of the most harrowing moments in human history. Günsche was not a notorious SS butcher, but he was something perhaps even more chilling, the closest man to Adolf Hitler during his final hours. Born in Jena in 1917, Otto joined the SS as a teenager and quickly ascended to Hitler's elite bodyguard unit, the Leibstandarte SS Adolf Hitler, where loyalty was sacred. On April 30, 1945, as Soviet artillery shook the ground above, Günsche was stationed outside the room where Hitler and Eva Braun prepared to take their lives. He knew what was about to happen. He also knew his final order: ensure the complete destruction of Hitler's body. When the gunshot rang out, Günsche entered with Martin Bormann. The bodies of Hitler and Braun lay still. No panic, no screaming, just a grim sense of duty. Otto gave the command: gather blankets, move furniture, carry the corpses to the garden, and then ignite the fire. The flames didn't just consume two bodies, they incinerated the last ember of a crumbling empire. But Otto Günsche paid a steep price for his loyalty. Captured by Soviet troops the very next day, he was tortured for years. They wanted to know everything. Was Hitler truly dead? Did he have a body double? Günsche never broke. He spent a decade in Soviet prison camps before being released. Back in Germany, he refused all interviews, never published a memoir, and lived a quiet life until his death in 2003. He took Hitler's final secret to the grave and never said a word. Rokas Misch, the last witness of Hitler's bunker. He was not a general, nor a mastermind of Nazi terror. He was a simple man, a telephone operator, a bodyguard, a messenger. Yet by fate, Rokas Misch became the last living witness to Hitler's final days. Born in 1917 in Silesia, Misch's childhood was marked by tragedy. His father was killed in World War I, his mother died of pneumonia, and his brother drowned when Rokas was only a boy. Raised by his grandparents, he grew up in hardship, a young man seeking stability in a country that had none. In 1937, he was drafted into the SS. By chance, his reliability and quiet demeanor led him to Adolf Hitler's inner circle, serving in the Leibstandarte SS Adolf Hitler as a bodyguard, and later as a telephone operator inside the Führer bunker. Misch wasn't just close to history, he was inside it. In April 1945, as Berlin collapsed under Soviet bombardment, Misch manned the switchboard of Hitler's bunker. It was he who connected frantic calls between collapsing fronts. It was he who heard the desperate voices of Nazi leaders as their empire crumbled. And on April 30th, it was he who heard the fatal gunshot. When he opened the door, he saw Hitler's lifeless body. Misch would later say, "I saw the Führer dead." He had shot himself, but his story did not end there. Captured by the Soviets, he spent 9 brutal years in prison camps before returning to Berlin. Unlike many, Misch did not retreat into silence. He opened a small shop selling home interiors and lived quietly with his wife. Yet his heart never changed. Until his death in 2013 at the age of 96, Misch remained unrepentant. He defended Hitler as a wonderful boss, insisting he was never a monster, but an ordinary man. His daughter, who later discovered Jewish ancestry in the family, was devastated by his refusal to admit guilt. For historians, Rokas Misch represents the uncomfortable truth, the banality of evil, the ordinary man who stood at the edge of history and chose loyalty over conscience. Hardy Grosch, the last of Hitler's chosen men. He was among the last, not just by age, but by allegiance. When Hardy Grosch died in May 2023 at the age of 103, a door closed forever. The door to a generation of men who had stood at the center of one of history's darkest nightmares. Grosch was not a household name. He didn't make headlines like Himmler or Goebbels, But within the feared 1st SS Panzer Division Leibstandarte Adolf Hitler, he was a high-ranking officer, a man trusted to carry the will of the Führer to the battlefield. His hands may never have lit the gas chambers, but he fought under the same banner, wore the same black uniform, and swore the same oath: absolute loyalty to Adolf Hitler. After the fall of Berlin in 1945, Grosch vanished. Like many of his comrades, he walked out of a broken world and into the fog of post-war Europe. He escaped prosecution, never appeared before a tribunal, never answered for his role. For decades he lived quietly, anonymously, under a new name. Few knew his past, even fewer dared to ask. While other SS veterans were tried, imprisoned, or executed, Grosch aged in silence. He witnessed the Cold War rise and fall. He saw Germany divided, then reunited. He lived long enough to see the internet, smartphones, and space tourism. Yet never once did he speak publicly about what he saw or what he did. When he passed away in 2023, only a few lines were printed in local papers. No public reckoning, no final confession, just silence.